From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online to papajohns.com and check out their specials. Great for game nights when you're watching football or baseball. Barry, let's do We Pick 'em. It's all college games this week, and all of our picks that aren't OU and OSU involve teams that are undefeated, which now becomes important when you're talking about the college football playoffs. So let's start with Auburn at Mississippi State. That's a 2:30 Saturday kickoff. Who you got in this one?
Well, it's an interesting game. We were misled by the national media in that lots of reports about the college football Hall of Fame moving to Atlanta. Clearly, the capital of college football is now in the great state of Mississippi. Game day, 2 straight weeks. First in Oxford, now in Starkville. Get ready, Hattiesburg. Your week is coming. But I'm going to take Auburn. I think. Mississippi State, very good program, the way Dan Mullen's built it up. The victory over Alabama, epic. However, very tough to get your guys up week after week.
Yeah.
And under that kind of microscope, Auburn's been there. I think the Tigers win a close game.
Yeah, I'm going with Auburn in this one as well. And, I love what Mississippi State's doing. Picked them to win last week. Or no. Yeah, I did. My picks have been
you
so
took
bad.
Them, I had A&M.
My picks have been so bad, I can't remember. I'm trying to forget. But no, I really have been impressed with Auburn. I don't think they're a fantastic team, but I think they're a really solid team. I think they do a lot of things really well. And, obviously the road environment at Mississippi State after a big win last week is going to be intense. It's going to be tough. But I like Auburn. They've been in those situations. I think they handle it, but that's quite a game on Saturday. And so is this one. Same time, 2:30 kick on Saturday. TCU goes to Baylor. The undefeated teams in the Big 12. Who you got in this one, Barry?
Well, this is an interesting game because this game shows that the big OU Texas showdown is the third best game in the state of Texas on Saturday. You got A&M Ole Miss down in College Station. You got TCU Baylor. OU Texas falls to number 3. This is a showdown of the old private schools in the Southwest Conference. And I tell you, I'm taking Baylor, but beware of TCU.
Yeah.
The Horned Frogs, little bit like Kansas State 2 years ago, get an early victory over Oklahoma, and people say, everybody will make it up. And nobody ever made it up on K-State. They won the Big 12, went to the Fiesta Bowl. TCU could be that kind of team. I don't think they can win in Waco. I think the Baylor's a good, solid team, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Frogs get on a roll here and commandeer the Big 12.
Here's my one concern with TCU, and I'm picking Baylor to win, and here's why. I liked what Trayvon Boykin did against OU. I know OU people don't like what he did, but he was really good against OU. But the book on him, successful games, still pretty thin. I mean, he obviously played last year, but he wasn't nearly as good as he was on Saturday against OU. So much like we might have jumped the gun a little bit with Trevor Knight and how he performed against Alabama, let's not jump the gun with Trayvon Boykin. I'd like to see him do it again. Maybe he does it against Baylor. Maybe he has another fantastic game against Baylor and proves me dead wrong. But I'm just not quite there. I'd like to see more consistency out of him before I say he's the best quarterback in the Big 12. I still think that guy's playing at Baylor. I think it's Bryce Petty, and I think that's a difference maker for the Bears. All right, Barry, what about this one? An unexpected unbeaten in the Pac-12. That's Arizona. They host Southern Cal. It's a late game, 9:30 on Saturday. Who are you taking in this one?
I got Southern Cal. I don't like Arizona at all. I think they're the worst of the unbeaten teams, and that includes Marshall. I might pick Marshall straight up against Arizona.
Now, come on.
Oregon,
really?
Arizona said way more about Oregon than it did Arizona. I saw Arizona play Texas San Antonio. Lucky to win against a team that last Saturday lost to New Mexico. I don't like Arizona at all. Southern Cal, I think, gets it going and beats the Wildcats in Tucson.
I'm on the Arizona bandwagon. I'm picking the Cats to win. Bear down. Go Cats. I don't know. I just think they're going to win. I think they're on a little bit of a roll right now. Southern Cal's been kind of hit and miss. I think Southern Cal may have the better team. Definitely, by all accounts, have the better individual talent. But I just think Arizona's got something going. I like what they're doing. I like how they're playing. I'm going with the Cats in that one. We could actually watch that one. We'll be done by then. All right, let's talk about the in-state teams. OSU goes to Kansas, 3 o'clock kick on Saturday afternoon. Do I even need to ask who you got winning this one?
Well, I've been waiting a long time for the Cowboys to get a win in Lawrence. Been to a lot of OSU-Kansas games. Seen great classics. Seen some disappointments at the end. Unfortunately, everything I've just said is about basketball. So, and unfortunately for you, you won't be at Allen Fieldhouse on Saturday. You'll be at that other citadel of great college sports, Memorial Stadium. So, no, what a mess of a program Kansas is. Now, the last time they went, OSU struggled, only won 20-14. So, I mean, KU's defense isn't terrible. Could keep OSU a little bit interesting for a while, but I'll take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going with OSU big in this one. Kansas, you said it, Barry. They're a mess. Obviously, firing Charlie Weiss didn't really get any sort of boost with the interim coach after that last week going to West Virginia. Really got trampled there as well. Yeah, I think their defense is decent, but offensively, I just don't know how. I mean, they'll probably score some points, but I just don't know how they can keep up with OSU. I think OSU is going to throw it deep a lot more than we saw them. But I also think they're going to try to establish the run, which could be really interesting. A lot of hand-wringing by Cowboy fans, that run game trying to get going. I think Mike Gundy's really insistent he wants to run the ball. And I think they're going to try really hard against the Jayhawks. All right, Barry, let's talk about that Red River rivalry. You mentioned it before, how it maybe has fallen a little bit in status, and yet around here it's still a huge deal. Who you got winning that 11 o'clock kick?
Well, you know my long-held theory, which is...
Pick the winner from the year before.
Always pick whoever won last year. Now, your friend and mine, Andrew Gilman, your fellow KU classmate, he convinced me last week, listen, you don't have to follow some sort of edict off the cliff. When you get new information, adjust your thinking. And so I was thinking, you know what, the G-Man is right. And then I saw TCU beat Oklahoma, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to stick with what I know, which is always pick whoever won last year. So I'm going to take Texas. I think in some ways that TCU showed a blueprint on how to beat OU, which is make Trevor Knight try to beat you with passing. And see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting game, especially after what happened last week. But I'm going to pick OU. I'm going to pick them to win. I think memories of last year will be a motivation for these guys. Obviously, memories of last week should be a motivation for these guys. But I think unlike Trayvon Boykin, Tyrone Swoops is not nearly as accurate or likely to stay within himself if he gets rattled a little bit. So I got to think that OU defense comes after him. Forces him to try to make plays. I think he throws it to the other team a little too much for Texas to get a win, but stranger things have happened. We all thought last year was a for sure when OU went down to the Cotton Bowl, and obviously it turned out another way. I just think OU's a lot better. I don't think Texas has got playmakers right now. I think Charlie Strong's finding that out. They don't have enough playmakers, and I think OU wins because of all that. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.